Hi guys, how are you doing today? Welcome back to Random Lifestyle Vlog. So today we're going to talk about fragrances. I'm going to show you my top 10 fragrances this season, and they are a little bit surprising for me because, you know, judging by what I used last year, I was like pretty sure what I'll be using this year, and that didn't happen, you know? Like, I think my top 10 fragrances this year are completely different to what I used last year. I don't know why. I mean, I think my just preferences changed a little bit, or maybe I'm in like a little bit different mood. I'm not sure. Some of these fragrances are something I almost decluttered, so I just don't know. I mean, I feel like I kind of surprised myself a little bit with those, and I'm going to show you autumn fragrances that I think they're like perfectly suitable for winter, like all of them. But these are the fragrances I've been using the most in the last couple of months, let's say. Okay, so I'm going to start with SJP. This is Banana Republic, which I do feel that this brand is so underappreciated. Like, not many people talk about it. They have very inexpensive but very nice fragrances. This is tobacco and tonka bean, and to be honest, this gives me like a major rum and raisins vibe. I don't know, I mean, there's no rum or raisins here. It's plum. There is some tobacco, but that tobacco, I mean, if you can't stand tobacco like at all, then obviously that's not going to be a fragrance for you. But I would probably say I'm not a massive fan of this note in general, but it just smells so good in here. So this is pretty much plum with some tobacco leaves, tonka, and a little bit of vanilla. Very warm, cozy, wintry fragrance. This tobacco note gives it a little bit more edge. So I do feel like, I mean, this fragrance with that tobacco wouldn't be the same. I really love it. So this is definitely one I've been using quite a lot this season. So the next fragrance is from the surprising category. This is Black Opium. This is the intense version. This is a flanker. Why is it surprising here? Because I've had this fragrance for a while and I liked it. I've always liked it, but this was not something I used that much. This year, I just can't stop using it. So I don't know if you can see, but this is the kind of like a dark blue bottle. It is quite similar to the original, I'm not going to lie. Pretty much all the Black Opium flankers are very similar to the original. Personally, I'm not a fan. I'm not a massive fan of the original. I do like it on other people, but whenever I try to use it, it seems like there's something missing in this fragrance, and I do find those missing bits in some of the flankers. There are like two flankers. I love this and the Nuit Blanche, but this one is the one I've been using this year a lot. It's actually a little bit, on one hand, it seems a little bit sweeter to the original. It has this licorice note then, but it also has absinthe note, which kind of makes it a little bit more airy. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's how I kind of perceive it. It's a little bit different. All in all, this is quite a sweet, gourmandy coffee fragrance. The whole Black Opium collection is pretty much that, sweet coffee fragrances, but this one has this extra accent, this little extra ingredient that kind of makes it so much better. And honestly, this is something I've been using quite a lot this winter, and I just can't stop. I mean, I don't know. It's amazing. Do you know what? This is actually quite cool when you have such a big fragrance collection. It's always interesting what is going to be your kind of vibe next season. I'm super curious what I'll be wearing like next spring or summer, because I'm pretty sure I can't really assume that judging by the last year. Okay, the next one, a little bit surprising as well. This is the original Scandale by Jean Paul Gaultier. Why is it surprising? I guess mostly because last year I was in love with the flanker, Scandale by Night. I was like, wow, this fragrance is amazing. And honestly, this was pretty much the only thing I used last winter. This winter though, I think this original fragrance just, I don't know, I definitely vibe with the original fragrance much more than with the flanker. I do feel like both of these fragrances are super beautiful, but this one is so much more unique in my opinion. This is a very strong honey fragrance with some orange. That's pretty much what it is. Not a safe blind buy for sure. You just have to be sure that you're going to like a very strong honey note. but this is just something I can't stop using. It's just so mind-blowing. It's super cozy, super warm. I definitely feel like this year I gravitate towards sweet, kind of like indulgent fragrances mostly. So next up we have Olympea Intense by Paco, Rabanne, and oh my god, as much as I'm not a massive fan of the original fragrance, this one is just everything, and it's such a great fragrance for like a colder weather. This is pretty much vanilla ambery fragrance with some salt, but it's pretty much like mostly vanilla and amber. It's super sexy. It's just like, I don't know, there's something amazing about this fragrance that I can't even describe, but I do feel like this is like a perfect fragrance to use when the weather is a little bit colder. Yeah. So I guess that Olympea Intense was one of the very few fragrances that are not like proper gourmands that I've been using this winter. But we're back to gourmands now, and this is Montale Paris, and this is Chocolate Greedy. So as you can probably guess, this is a very sweet chocolatey fragrance. It doesn't have chocolate as a note. What it does have is cacao, vanilla, tonka bean, coffee, dried fruits, and bitter orange. I just don't really get much of those dried fruits or bitter orange. This is very kind of chocolatey, vanilla-like kind of fragrance. It's very beautiful. It's very yummy. It's perfect for winter. And yeah, do you know what? I've been actually thinking, I've been trying this keto diet recently, so I don't really eat many sweets. I guess this might be one of the reasons why I choose fragrances that are so sweet now, because kind of like, you know, I can't have them, I can't eat them, so maybe at least I can smell like, you know, chocolate. I don't know, that could be one of the reasons, like, you know, subconscious reasons to choose fragrances like that this season. Okay, moving on, this time a fragrance that is probably the least sweet out of this whole selection, and I guess I choose it whenever I just don't really feel like wearing sweet fragrances. This is Stash by Sarah Jessica Parker. This is a celebrity perfume, but to be honest, it smells like a niche fragrance. It is so beautiful. This fragrance is definitely unisex, and I'm pretty sure it will be considered to lean slightly too masculine for some people, but I just love it. I think this is like a super sexy fragrance, but at the same time very classy, if you know what I mean. Such a beautiful creation, and it's very inexpensive as well because it's like a celebrity fragrance, right? So the next fragrance is from Givenchy, and this is L'Interdit Intense. I pretty much love the whole line of these fragrances, but this one is my choice for this winter, probably because there is some sort of like a creaminess in this fragrance, which I'm not sure why. So this whole range of fragrances is based on a strong tuberose note, and to me tuberose is a very autumnal wintry note. I don't usually wear tuberose in summer time. Not strong tuberose for sure. It just gives me a headache. But this fragrance here, it is actually quite unique. It has this sesame note, which does make it a little bit different. I don't know why, but it feels like it almost adds a little bit of creaminess to this fragrance. So that's why I seem to like it the most this year. Such a beautiful fragrance, but also do not blind buy it unless you know you like your tuberose. This is like a proper, sweet, sexy tuberose. It is quite modern. It doesn't, I mean, sometimes tuberose fragrances can smell very mature, like almost, I mean, quite mature, you know what I mean? But this is quite a modern tuberose. It's still strong. So yeah, be careful with that, but I definitely highly recommend if you like your bubblegummy sweet tuberose. Okay, next up we have an oldie. This is Marc Jacobs Decadence, and I've always liked this fragrance, so it's not a massive surprise, but this was a fragrance I haven't used for a while. You know, just sometimes you just have like those breaks from fragrances. And then I restarted using it recently, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so beautiful. Some people say that they get a pickled cucumber from it, and I just don't know how. I mean, I don't get it. Some people say that there are like green notes in here, which I don't really get many green notes. This is like a beautiful plum fragrance with some iris, with some saffron. So there's definitely this floral component here. There is some vetiver and some papyrus, so maybe that's where people get these like green notes from. To me, it's just this beautiful, sexy, floral plum fragrance. It is so stunning, and I just can't get enough of it this season. Okay, 2 more fragrances left. Okay, so the next thing is something I almost decluttered because honestly I couldn't figure out when is the right moment to use this fragrance, and this is La Petite Robe Noir. This is the perfume, or the perfume version. So I really love Eau de Toilette. It's actually quite airy, quite I mean, perfect for springtime, for summer. So that was easy, right? I do love some of the flankers, like, you know, the green one, which I don't really remember. Yeah, I don't remember, but the green one, the intense version with the blueberries, these are beautiful. I have something like raspberries. They're also great and amazing for like springtime and summertime, but this one was a little bit different because it has this very strong licorice note. So it's like cherry, almond, and then you have this licorice note, and it kind of makes it a very kind of like sweet, kind of syrupy, deep dark, but also, I don't know, that cherry is kind of like, it's not like your usual sexy cherry, it's more like syrupy cherry. So I just didn't know, it didn't work for me as a summer or springtime fragrance, like at all. And for some reason in winter I just chose like different cherry fragrances, but this year it finally clicked. So I feel like this type of cherry was something I actually needed this season, so that's why we probably finally clicked, but that's good because, as I said, I almost decluttered this fragrance. Okay, so that leaves us with the last fragrance of my little list, and this is La Nuit Tresor à la Folie, and this is a fragrance by Lancome, and this is another surprising one for me because to be completely honest with you guys, this was my least favorite fragrance from this whole kind of like La Nuit Tresor line. Like, honestly, I know most people seem to love it. For many of you, this is your favorite one from the whole range. For me, I don't know. I could never actually understand why people loved it so much until this winter, and now I just can't get over it. This is a beautiful combination of woody, floral, and fruity notes with like strong vanilla. It is really beautiful. It's very warm. It's a little creamy, so it's perfect for winter. And to be honest, I just do not understand why I didn't like it before. But I don't know, it seems like something just unlocked in my head or in my nose, I don't know. But now I find this fragrance like super beautiful. I think it's discontinued, by the way. So if you're thinking about buying it, then maybe that's a good time to do it. But yeah, these are my top 10 fragrances for this winter. These are the fragrances I reach for the most. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below what you think about my choices. Let me know what your favorite fragrance or fragrances this winter are. I would love to know your thoughts in general. Thank you very much for watching. For more beauty related content, check those videos over here. I'm going to see you very soon. Take care. Bye.